So I spent $300 on this walking pad for my desk. Was it worth it? So who is this even for? In my circumstance, I work from home, so I'm behind my desk for 8-9 hours a day. I already have a standing desk, but I wanted to actually get more exercise throughout the day. So I was looking for some options online on how I can actually get exercise while working, and the walking pad showed up, and I thought this is a no-brainer. For me, my goal was always to hit 10,000 steps a day, and I knew I just wasn't getting those steps in if I was behind my desk all day. So I ended up pulling the trigger for $300, bought a random no-name one on Amazon, and it came in a few days later. With the walking pad came this little remote that had a plus and minus sign for your speed, had a start and stop button for the actual treadmill part, and that was really it. To actually use the treadmill itself, all you have to do is plug it in the wall, press the start button, and it'll start you on a very slow speed. This one starts at 1 mile an hour. From there, you can press the plus and minus buttons and get up to speed. You can actually get up to speed pretty quick on this thing. I've gone up to like 4 miles an hour, which is way too fast for daily walking. I usually set it around 2.5 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour. I find that's the best for my body and allows me to focus on my work while not getting distracted by the walking. The treadmill also has the ability to have a slight incline, which is super cool. There's these little screwable legs on the way back of the treadmill. You can unscrew them to make the treadmill have a little bit of an elevation, or you can screw them in to have a completely flat treadmill-like experience. The treadmill also shows you the amount of time that you've walked, the distance you've walked in miles, the amount of calories burned, which I'm not sure how accurate that really is, and obviously the speed that you're walking. And the screen on the treadmill flips between all of these options every 5 seconds or so you can actually see all of your metrics. Also, there's an app associated with this treadmill, but I haven't found it to work very well at all, so I've never used it. I frankly just use the remote, and that's what does it for me. Now going on to some of the pros of the walking pad. Firstly, you're gonna get a ton of exercise. Sometimes I'm walking on this thing for hours and I don't even realize it. If you go at a slow enough speed, you can honestly walk for super long periods of time. Sometimes I've been working and I look down and it says I've been walking for an hour and a half and I just covered like 3-4 miles. So you can get a ton of exercise with this. For me, usually about a mile is around 2,000 steps. So I know that if I'm walking 4 or 5 miles on this thing every day, I can actually reach that 10,000 step goal just being behind my desk. Also, it's pretty easy to move around. My model doesn't fold like some others do, but there's actually wheels on the back so you can actually lift it up and roll it around, which makes it super easy to store under the couch, which is where I usually keep mine most of the time if I'm not using it. And it actually keeps my energy elevated. Sometimes mid-afternoon, if I weren't to walk, I would actually feel a little bit drowsy and kind of tired. But this thing keeps my energy levels up, surprisingly, and allows me to continue to exercise throughout the day. Now coming on to the cons of the walking pad, obviously you can't really use this in a Zoom room. I've done it before and you just get really judgy looks from people. Maybe it's just not a common thing, but that's something to keep note of if you're constantly in Zoom rooms. I've had people say it makes them feel dizzy when they see me walk. So that could be a consideration for you if you're on a lot of Zoom meetings. I'm usually not, so for me it works really well. Also, the build quality is a little bit questionable. Like I said, this was a no-name brand from Amazon, and mine started to make some noise. It still works, but it's kind of like a creaking sound every time I walk on it. So I'm just kind of waiting until this thing breaks and then buying a new one. Also, you might think that it's hard to work and walk at the same time, but for me, I got used to it super fast, and you can easily walk and do a ton of work without even realizing you're actually walking, which is a crazy thing to say. But like I said, it's like time flying by, which is what you don't realize, and it's actually how you get a ton of steps in without putting a ton of effort in. So that's definitely a huge benefit for me, but I know for some it may be kind of hard to exercise and do work at the same time. So when you're actually breaking down the cost of the machine here and how often I use it, it's actually well worth the $300 if you're comparing it to a traditional gym membership. I've had this thing for multiple years. I use it every single day. I probably walk around 5-6 miles a day just on this treadmill. So when you actually break down the numbers like that, it totally makes sense and is 100% worth the $300. Also, knowing I'm getting my 10,000 steps in a day is well worth the $300 for my overall health. So when this thing breaks, am I gonna buy another one? Absolutely. Obviously, the best option is always to walk outside, get some vitamin D, get some sunlight. But if you have no option, like me, you have to work behind your desk some days, this is absolutely the best option. So if you do consider a walking pad for your desk, just make sure to check out the reviews. Like I said, a lot of these are kind of no-name brands. So just read the reviews, make sure it's good to go, and I'm certain you're gonna get some benefit out of it. So in conclusion, was the $300 walking pad worth it? 100%. I would absolutely buy one in a heartbeat. Even though the quality is a little suspect, I would buy one over and over again, just because of the amount of health benefits that I received from it. So that's the walking pad. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos on some of the health wellness products that I have and some of the health and wellness tips I use in my life to actually improve my health and wellness, make sure to hit that subscribe button for the next video. But that's it for the walking pad. I'll see you guys in the next one.